Hey guys, welcome to the Heart of David. This is going to be a good video today. I'll just say about maybe about a year ago. And pardon me, my back, so I'm not myself. About a year ago, I started to tell you guys there's too many people saying no weapon against ye shall prosper. And I actually used this example. So I don't know, maybe this was, I checked the video, I think this was like maybe 9 months ago. So maybe it was that long ago. But, you know, I had to study this over and I had to look at it and I looked at this in so many different ways, so many different chapters and of different books of what some prophets are saying, what other people are saying, and it's a context. It's a context of no weapon against ye shall prosper. That, you know, to think that the part that was getting me kind of I don't know, spiritually angry, was that people were spreading saying nothing is ever going to hurt you. So we know we're going to face trials and tribulations. I was assaulted just like 4 or 5 months ago, walking across a bridge. So what does that mean? I can't speak to every situation, but I come back to this one. I see a video of this the other night, and it was this example that I used. And I did explain to people that I do believe, I mean, after a lot of reading, that probably in most cases, listen, we can get hurt, we can get shot, we can get beat up, we can get names thrown at us. A lot of different stuff can happen to us. But the question is, if we truly are a Christian, right? If we're truly a Christian, we truly love God, will he just leave us in the dark? Will that weapon that was formed against you or you or I, the question is, will it prosper? So, do you think Christians are ever killed? Of course they are. Born again Christians, of course they are. You hear those stories mostly in other parts of the world where people are being persecuted. So never have that mind. But the question is, so over there may be a lot of deaths and there might be a lot of good stuff happening around that. It's you know, causing people to rise up even more, right? But in a place like North America where, you know, you don't see a lot of this. You know, what is it? We may get pushed around, we may get you know, who knows, our finances, our health, all sorts of stuff. I've come to the idea that if you truly love God, if you truly believe in God, I don't think, in most cases, I don't think that weapon will prosper in the way that person purposed it. And here's an example. I was just kind of, you know, like, people are using this so loosely that someone's really going to get hurt. That's just how I felt about it. So anyways, I'll show this to you and I'm going to comment through it as well. But, sorry, my back, man. It's just squeezing me on both sides. I have a TENS machine on. Follow me to the very end because I'm going to talk about the mark of the beast. And I think it will interest you.
A Valley Street preacher speaking out for the first time after being shot in the head. I'm Christine Stanwood, and coming up, 26-year-old Hans Schmidt shares with me his last memory before being placed on life support in a medically induced coma, while his wife prayed tirelessly for Hans's healing. Surrounded by exhaust, thorns, and the gospel.
If you're stuck in sin, you're stuck in the way that you're living.
You'll find Hans Schmidt, microphone in hand, at the corner of 51st and Peoria Avenues.
You can have hope in Jesus.
This November night, Schmidt's street preaching ended abruptly.
I remember falling to my knee. And then after that, I was like, oh, something's not right. I grabbed all my gear, put it back in the car. I drove my car back to church.
Coherent but confused, the father of two was planning to attend Wednesday worship yards away at Victory Chapel.
He just comes to the car and I remember just seeing blood and I'm like, what?
Take a second look at that. I guess they probably took that picture right away.
What happened? What happened?
And in my head, I was saying, I'm not okay. But I wasn't speaking.
You weren't speaking?
There's no words coming out. Her brother George was like, let's take him to the hospital. And luckily he did, because that's when, on the way there, I started seizing.
Hans arrived unresponsive at the hospital. Doctors uncovering the catastrophic cause of his collapse.
Wait, they said that he traveled. He managed to travel after he got shot in the head?
The CT scan was what revealed that there was actually a bullet. And even the neurosurgeon was like, there's nothing we can.
Can see that right. I don't know if that's it right there. I don't know if that's it right there, but I don't know. I think this is all fragments of the traces all the way across. Let's hear more.
Can do.
The detective told you, we'll know more after the autopsy. That's what the detective told her. I was going to die.
Doctors and detectives believed death was inevitable. Paralyzed in her own right, Zulia faithfully did what she could for her husband.
And a lot of pleading to God, please leave him. No matter how you leave him, but please leave him. Praying God, if you can raise dry bones, why not him? There's so many people that are miracles, and I'm like, why not him?
After speaking with his wife, they are just praying, Katie, for a miracle.
Yeah, we'll stay on this case for sure. Christine, thank you.
News traveled from the valley to around the world. Prayers poured into Hans and his new family of four for just an ounce of light, of hope.
They would do tests on him to see if he was responsive, and many times they were like, he's not responsive.
Hans was placed on life support in a medically induced coma.
Those days felt really long, so I was scared that, I'd never hear his voice again.
But as each hour, each day passed, that miracle began to take form. Bedside 1 month later, Hans looked at his wife and breathed.
And then he's like, it's fine. And I was like, what? You just spoke. And I was like, Hans, you just spoke? And I was super stoked about it.
Oh my goodness, Zoe.
The next month, in January, Hans would walk and open his front door, greeted by little hands and feet.
What's it like to come home to your wife and your two babies every day?
It's a miracle. Absolutely a miracle.
What I think is just so incredible is that we're sitting here having a full-fledged conversation. If I was just meeting you for the first time, I would have no idea that this happened within a year. That's incredible.
I should not be alive. Realistically, I should be dead. And because his grace and his love, I'm still here. The bullet passed through my brain. I should not be alive. Realistically.
Listen to what he just says, because I was about to say it. I couldn't hear it. I didn't hear it in the beginning. The bullet.
I should be dead. And because his grace and his love, I'm still here. The bullet passed through my brain. It's a straight line, all the way through. Went in here, it's still over here.
Hans shows me his CT scan, where the bullet entered and where the lead fragments still live in his brain today. Doctors tell him it's too risky to operate to remove what's left.
Just like your children, you're learning how to talk. And was walking also a journey too?
He had to relearn everything.
For my PT, they always put me on the treadmill. I'm always running.
You're running?
Yeah, I go running for my PT.
Hans's recovery includes daily speech and occupational therapy. He tells me he's eager to get back to work, and doctors say he should be able to return to a somewhat normal life. The simplicity of normal is all he and his wife have prayed for.
You know what this reminds me of? It reminds me of when that I don't know his name. Remember, he had a heart attack on the football field, and he was like a star player or something like that. I think he hit someone hard, but after that he had a heart attack. Whether it was associated with what. After that, a lot of people in the stadium, they spread it on the news, all that type of stuff. A lot of people prayed. This was a worldwide type of thing. And through social media, a lot of stuff passes pretty quickly. Holy guys, this is hard. In the same way with this, so that person was saved, by the way. I forget his name. You can say his name in the comment section, but no different from this. And it makes me wonder, you know how Paul says, or sorry, Jesus says, to Israel, I'm not coming until they say, blessed is he who comes in the name of the Lord. That makes me understand that there's a magic word that they can say. And just like in the old times in Israel, when whenever they had people coming up against them, whenever the whole nation prayed, God stopped. It feels to me it's almost like that when a whole lot of people pray. I don't know, that's what I've seen lately anyways. I'm sure it's not like that every time. But you heard what he said. That bullet, whatever kind of gun that was, I'm guessing it's maybe a 22 or something like that. And those are assassin weapons, by the way. Sorry, I've studied war, so they use that to do that to people. But it passed right through his brain. Can you imagine? And it's still in there. That guy's still walking. That guy's just as new as he was, and probably better. Crazy.
Side by side, they take me back to the corner where he was shot 9 months ago.
I'm so grateful.
She's been my rock.
He stands with both feet at 51st and Peoria Avenues, ready to share his new testimony, knowing the person who fired the weapon is still out there. Yet Hans fearlessly and peacefully already made his decision.
I don't think that holding a grudge against him is going to change anything. I think it's important to forgive people, and so, yeah, I've forgiven him.
In Glendale.
Every day is a blessing because I'm still here.
Christine Stanwood, ABC 15, Arizona.
Like she said, Valley of Dry Bones, please God. If you can do that, you can do this. And I also think of, is the Lord's arm too short? That he can do anything? He can do things beyond description. Hey, if he can get me up on my feet, then he can do a lot of things for people. That's an absolutely insane story. So, I'm thinking of what's going to happen with that bullet in his brain. So that's for that story, and no small story, right? I'm having a hard time, as you could probably tell at the beginning of this video. I don't know, have you ever had the feeling of absolutely being crushed? That's what it's like, so it's hard to express myself. The mark of the beast. As every day passes, and I've said this before, I believe I know what it could be. There's a million cajillion guesses out there what it is, and some of them could be plausible, and this one is completely plausible. I simply believe that it's the internet. Everything to do with the internet. You say, well, it's been around for a certain amount of time, and there's nothing wrong with it, educational and this and that. That may be true, but just like I personally, I am pretty disciplined in what I do. Sure, I switch to some videos maybe I shouldn't watch, I don't mean like porn or anything like that. I don't mean that at all. I just mean some Christian videos maybe I shouldn't watch. Maybe some news channels I shouldn't be listening to type thing. Never in all of human history. And guys, I self-studied. I know where all the propaganda from Joseph Goebbels and Nazi Germany came from. I know what they do. If you repeat a lie enough times, you know that phrase, then people start to believe it. The television, the radio, television, internet. The internet just complements them all. It is the top of them all. It manipulates the masses. Why wouldn't we think? Why wouldn't you or I think that it's the mark of the beast? Everything bad is found there. So the biggest propaganda campaign in all of human history is going on right now with Trump versus Harris. And this propaganda has really taken off when the Democrats got in office way back. You know what I mean? Like almost 4 years ago. And the more and more I look at the internet and I look what it stands for, I can't see anything else in this world that is more destructive than that. So how long is... Okay, I grew up in the late 70s, 80s. I really grew up in the 80s and 90s though. So I saw everything come. I saw Nintendo, Sega, Atari, and television, Super Nintendo, you know, whatever, all those things come. I saw, you know, iPod. I saw everything come. And I was old enough to understand them. I also understand that in 2010 is the true beginning of social media. Okay? That is the official date. You can go look as much as you want. It'll say 2010. In 14 years, or close to 15 years, let's say, what does it manage to do? And listen, the question is, were we healthy before that? And I would say for the most part we were. You could look in many categories. I think it's blatantly obvious. And today we have convenience. We have convenience. I'm not going to look at the good, because that's what people tend to do. We'll look at the good. Let's look at the bad. Sure, there are good things, right? We know there's education, we can buy things easily. But what are the bad things? Globalism? Places, big box stores like Amazon. Can you even comprehend how many businesses have gone down because of it? Yes, I do use it. But I'm considering a lot of things because we are in the last days. I'm not saying we could be in the last years, but you understand that phrase. Let's explore, just off the tip of my mind, what are all the bad things associated with it that were not here before, or some of them not even close to the level? And just the way that the internet can sway people from one way to the other is amazing. It's a virus. It's a parasite. What did the Apostle Paul say in Timothy? What did he say the end times would be like? People would be lovers of pleasure. They would only love themselves. They'd be boastful. They'd be proud. They'd be violent. Do you see any of that? I think that's all we see. So we know that. That's been fulfilled now. The days of Noah. I can literally go and type up a tank battle. Like, I studied World War II by myself, but I spent a lot of time doing that. I'm just saying that I know enough, right? And just I had in my head all these battles. I'm like, I wonder what they were like. And, like the old films where, you wouldn't really see anything. And not close-up battles anyways. Some, yes, like in the Pacific Theater, but yeah, go look up Ukraine war. You can look up tank battles from above, from drone views, from all that type of stuff. There's one thing, war. It perpetuates wars big time. Look at the Arab Spring. Look what happened there, man. One leader now can hear another leader without even having to speak to them, and they literally shadow reply to each other. But you don't know what the truth is, especially now. All the lies coming from the left. They're virtually all lies, okay? I know because I do know the truth. There's that. Instagram models, people, listen, I still sell things over the internet, so I use Facebook like Marketplace, and so, when I switch over and I go to Marketplace, I immediately go to my, my Facebook comes up, and I see like someone's picture that I know they've always putting up pictures all the time. When I see that, I'm like, I'm just so glad I'm not using this anymore. I don't want to see your, I don't want to see you put up 5 different pictures of yourself in a day. I just don't want to see that, man. Unrealistic things. Young people having expectations for looking at that. That's called globalism. Wake up, turn your computer on for me. Start reading the Bible on the left, the news ticker on the bottom. News, breaking news. There's always breaking news. It doesn't matter what app, YouTube, TikTok, whatever it is, it's the internet. Feminism couldn't have happened this way. Now, nobody's getting married. Nobody. You have this alpha, beta, and they're just a stupid delusion. There's a man and not a man. That's all there is. You can pretend you're a wolf or a bat. Think of all the explosion of narcissism. There's NPD and then there's high narcissism, which is created from these pictures and likes and shares. And, like a share and a like is like a 400 unit hit in your brain, just as high as cocaine. Go read that if you don't believe me. 400 units is how it's measured, as high as cocaine. The only one higher than that is methamphetamines. So every time you get a like or a share, no wonder you're addicted. Short clips, all that type of stuff, algorithms. Think of the eating disorders. I go back to that. Narcissistic personality disorder. Antisocial personality disorder. Borderline personality disorder. Now, I'm not targeting anyone. I'm giving you the facts. The people who tend to cause issues on purpose perpetuate so much. They target so much. They have a tool which they never had before. And some of them are after me. I'll never talk about what it is, but, probably every YouTuber has some sort of thing. So they try to get back at you, do all these types of things. It's just so, How about burglars? Okay? Go, hey, what? You're going on vacation? Thank you very much. What house do you live at? Oh, you took a picture of your house? Hey, I can see your kids. I'm a, a P, right? Very dangerous. Eating disorders, anxiety disorders, obsessive compulsive disorders, just to name a few. Paranoia. I'm sure there's a lot of delusionary things that happen to people. You know what? When you think about it and you're a born-again Christian, you look at it and you think about those things and it's disgusting. And you're telling me this isn't the mark of the beast? So personally, me, I'm caught with a lot of different physical illnesses. Sorry, I'm not trying to use this as an excuse, because my life would be very tough without the internet. But if it turned out to be, I guess I'd have no choice when I really recognized if it was or not to stop it. What I mean is like banking and doing all that stuff instead of having to exert myself and go out and, get every little thing I have to get at certain places. It's very tough for me. Let's think of some other stuff. Yes, I understand this, okay? You know what I'm talking about? Like, why are so many people dying? Well, also face the fact that it's only been here really since 2010 in this capacity. That's sitting in front of a screen all day, a lot of people, a lot of hours, a lot of cardiovascular diseases, a lot of raised blood pressure for all sorts of issues. So there's a plethora of that. There's a plethora of that. People think they have to be a certain way because of the internet, because of globalism. That's what globalism does. You're looking at people all over the world, and you can't there's another one. Identity. No one knows their identity anymore. That's why you have to find it. I found mine in Christ, and I found out who I really was. Take yourself on a nature walk. Go out somewhere. Go look. Go by a pond. Go walk in a forest. Go ride your bike. Everything is just turning advanced and this and that. God never changes. Like I said to people, I wish I was born in the 1800s. I really wish I was, away from all of this. But I'm also glad to see the signs. They're very comforting. We know they attacked the nuclear family, okay? I just use that term. I don't like that term. Yeah, I don't like that term, but it defines it. Do you think that's any small deal to God? So there's so many single people, and the West has really done a job on Western women, entitled Western women, and all men want is an honest, nice woman. A woman who tells the truth. A woman who, I'm not saying who wants to stay home and do all that, but, just the way it has been for whatever, thousands of years. It's a big deal to God to tear the family apart. And that's done by mysterious forces, but there is an agenda, I know that much. Where the exact source is coming from, well, we know where the primary source is coming from, but who is that? Who is really at the top? We'll never know. Some families are different. Some people don't talk to each other for years, okay? We were never, ever meant to, unless you choose to live around your family, that's fine, right? I'm not saying that if you're a family person, but I don't think it was ever meant for, sons and daughters to have such close connections to their parents, like by Facebook, by whatever of these sources. Emails, all that type of stuff. I just don't think so. Why? The core of this is that we're supposed to be, and this is how I'm going to finish off. There's so much more. There's so many bad influences. Porn is, man, I didn't even get into that. You're telling me this isn't the mark of the beast? What else could it be at this point? At this point. People are saying it was this. But the more you look, you draw a conclusion. Go on your email or get a book and go on Word and write up all the not the good, all the bad that the internet creates. And I guarantee you'll have such an extensive list, you'll be like, maybe he's right. Maybe that guy's right. So that's what I wanted to say. It's not easy to express because you have to explain everything. It made the world so small. It took away all the mystery and all the romanticism. Whatever happened to, just like a child falling in love with another young girl or into young adulthood? Those things are gone, man. Those things are gone. And even us as adults, that romanticism, I wouldn't say it's completely gone, but because of the internet, these things have absolutely taken over. And I think the product itself has proven destructive in that it's going to implode. We're right on the edge of a world war. Look at Donald Trump. You just got that could have gone. That could have, like, if that person didn't do it that way, and they would have camouflaged himself in there, and maybe they would have never found. There's a lot of evil, and usually, remember, it would be like it would take at least a week or longer to hear news like that. I mean, guys, 100 years ago was not that long. We've only had the internet, and what I mean is social media, at its official start of strength less than 15 years ago. Hope this edified you in some way. What I mean edified for the first story, but this too, because edification is understanding that I explained it to you. Be your own person, and I hope you can get away from the bad things of the internet. And I pray to God that you can find what I found. Of course, I'm still on the internet, and but I'm looking at it.